to our monthly market update with fellow eXp agents around the state. I'm Kristen Gomes with Gomes Selling Homes, and today I'm here with Carly Graham representing the greater Boston area, Lisa Parenteau on beautiful Cape Cod, and we are missing our fellow eXp agent in Western Mass, Gerard Meenagh, but he will be joining us on the next call. So how is everyone doing today?
Great. How are you, Kristen?
Excellent, thank you.
Excellent. Slightly rainy today, but looking forward to some summer weather fast approaching.
This weekend's supposed to be beautiful.
I know, I'm excited. Fresh air, beautiful sunshine, no complaints once it's here. So as we know that summer weather is coming and the market is still hot. We've mentioned it in previous videos that this is very much so a seller's market. So those that are looking, excuse me, so today we'll be discussing how long we anticipate this to stick around. And we'll also be talking about some local market stats and some decorating tips and some staging tips when it comes to listing your house in the summer. So Carly, let's kick this off. And do you think that for the primary market for homes will remain strong through the rest of 2021?
I do, absolutely. There is really no end in sight. Even if interest rates fluctuate a little bit, we'll still be at that ultimately, historical low that we've been at, right? And even if it just picks up a little bit, I think buyers, even though they're a little frustrated with getting beat out, and that's still happening, I do think that they're starting to understand the market so much better. And by having a good buyer's agent on your side, those buyer's agents who are communicating with the listing agents are really finding out, okay, well, how did we stack up? Where were we in the price point? Was it just price or was it terms? And I think by taking that information, it's gonna keep the buyer confidence, and it's gonna continue to I don't know if it's necessarily gonna grow because we grew so fast, so quickly up front, but it will be a strong home market straight through to the end of the year. Absolutely.
I 100% agree. We are still seeing strong buyer demand, and it's really not slowing down. We are seeing more inventory come onto the market, but it's going just as quickly as it hits. And hopefully we will see more come on. But I do think that I'll just piggyback of what you said, Carly, that we may not see in 2022 values grow as fast as they have in 2020 and 2021. We may see that level off, but I don't think that this is going to come down anytime soon. But Lisa, how about the second home market? We know that buyer demand has skyrocketed in that market as well. As 2021 showing any signs of it slowing down?
No, and in fact, I was going to say I respectfully disagree with that even leveling off. We're continuing to find properties. We just lost one over the weekend. We were 125,000 over. It was a luxury, so I mean you have to put that into perspective. 125,000 over with no contingencies, and we did not get it. So, and it was pretty well priced to begin with. Now it was in Truro, so inventory is low on a good day in Truro, mind you. But it's unbelievable. And I think Lawrence Yun just put something out on June 2nd saying that as we may tiptoe into a whisper of inflation, like there's not going to be any kind of massive inflation, but I mean, the laws of economics still exist, right? And so that probably may happen as tax rates go up on certain segments, and as some of these things happen, that only means more interest and demand for real property. People want to take their money out of wherever the heck it was if they think inflation is happening and put it into real estate. So for me, I think that one of my friends who was a CFO for a Fortune 1000, he says 2 years, which kind of gives me, I don't know how I feel about that. The good news is the good news is the market is crazy. The bad news is the market is crazy, right? So it is not going to be ending anytime soon. And here we're continuing to see that kind of appreciation. Although I have to admit, we've continued to also see some price reductions in people who've lost their minds. When they did position their home in a place that probably was not, taking into consideration location and condition, right? When you take, we have seen some price reductions, and we're also not seeing a big increase in inventory. I don't know when you wanted to do our stats, but this is so staggering. I've got to share this. 2020, April, pending sales, 2021 pending sales, up by 74.3%.
I believe that.
Median sales price up 42.1%, but inventory down 74%. So inventory down 74%, sales up, but there's like, it went for, the numbers are so small that it's not even, and the price increase, the 42.4, I mean, it's gone from 439 to 625 median sales price here. So that has such an impact all around. It has an impact on the ability of the average middle range buyer, and many of ours, as I'm sure in your markets, have just said, I'm going to take a break. They don't stop looking though. They still cut, funny to Kristen was just talking about a funny TikTok she just did. They still keep looking, but they just have to say, I've got to take a pause, so I'll be interested to see if you guys are seeing that. But that's what I'm really seeing in my second home market. Inventory is not really increasing dramatically. Demand is still really up. Price is up. And we can talk about some other factors later in the analysis.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. Average sale price is up 18% this year, May compared to last. My stats are a month ahead, or a month or so ahead of yours. But listings for the month of May were down 47% compared to last. But that is the recurring theme that we've seen. But it's also those pending sales, they are going super quickly, like I've already mentioned. So Carly, what are you seeing in Boston? Similar stats?
Yeah, and I think, so what we're kind of seeing sort of outside of Boston is we saw a lot of people leave the city, and we did see a decrease in sales price for condos in the city, single family in the city. And I think people are starting to sort of, now that everything's changing a little bit with COVID and vaccinations and things opening up, is people are starting to sort of rethink that move out and are starting to, you're seeing prices like go up a little bit more sort of in the city and just outside the city. Prices just outside the city, Greater Boston, South Shore, Route 3, 95, that whole area, they're still so high. I mean, someone's like, can you believe this? Just a regular old person's like, can you believe this? They put this house on for, $689. And I'm like, yeah, but it'll probably go for closer to $8. And they're like, what? And absolutely, some people don't realize just how great the market is. I actually had someone tell me that, someone knew I was thinking about selling, and so they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. And I said, you didn't put it on the open market? And they said, no, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. I'm like, if it wasn't 100 over asking, you might have missed out, because you put it on the market. The demand is still there, like we said. Buyers are still, they are getting a little frustrated and they don't want to have to go 100 over asking. And that's not in every market, right? There's so many pieces to our market that are my market, my Greater Boston market, that some towns aren't seeing that. But they are seeing 20, 30 over asking. But if you're working with a good buyer's agent, they know what price point you should be looking at. They know when it, like Lisa said, some people like lost their minds and like overpriced their homes because they're like, oh, I live in the Cape and I'm going to sell it for, 2.8 million. It's really kind of worth like 1.8. And I think that when you have a good buyer's agent, we can depict that. We can look at them like, oh, these people are crazy. It'll sit on the market. They won't get any offers. We'll be able to negotiate. And that's actually happened a couple times here in Easton for me is I look at it, I'm like, that in this market is even overpriced for the quality of, it's not well maintained. No one's taking care of it. It needs a ton of stuff. And sure enough, it doesn't go the first weekend. And that, if it doesn't go the first weekend, gives you a little bit of maybe wiggle room, gives you an opportunity to maybe sneak in and grab it. So I think that's kind of what I'm seeing in Greater Boston is I am seeing people kind of move back to the city a little bit more, and it's less. But the market is still really strong here. Really.
Absolutely. And what we're seeing now is that we can all agree that this market is very competitive for buyers and remains strong. What Carly just mentioned is those strong buyers agents that are able to navigate their clients through this. What we've mentioned in previous videos is what I appreciate each of you is that you know your market. Working with an agent that knows their market, that can identify those overpriced homes, because people are testing it. In any market, people will test the market. In this market, they're really pushing it to the extreme. But if you're not from the area that your client is looking to purchase in, you may not know that that house is extremely overpriced. So that's why it's important to work with local agents that are experienced in the market that you're looking to purchase in. So also to note that buyers' needs have shifted over the last year. A lot have moved from the city. Some are moving back, but what they're looking for in a property is different than what historically we've seen. A big part of that, which is a big part of the summer season, is the backyard. So for sellers, what advice would you give them when it comes to sprucing up that backyard and doing some smaller projects to get the most return?
I would definitely say absolutely stress lifestyle. You know, that's when you get, no matter what, whether you're, you know, styling for a sitting area around a fireplace, or as Kristen was saying, you know, in the summer as we're moving out, make sure you have, you know, I mean, we're not really big on setting the table, you know, how they used to do that with the table set, and but you know, if you have a nice thing of lemonade on the table outside, you know, have it really get people right into that, sitting out there with their friends, having some kind of a cold drink, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying their family, no masks on, you know, definitely around your fire pit, whatever that kind of looks like. Just get a fire pit. If you don't have a big fire pit built, go buy something at Home Depot and put it out there with some plastic chairs. Like, no matter what, like, really stress that outside. And you can never go wrong with investing a little bit into hardscape. It's kind of tough to do any hardscaping right now. They're probably telling you 2022, but if you are a DIY, or even with your own thing, you know, put out some more beautiful planters. You know, make sure your herbs are all over. Fragrance is really important for the actual in-person showings, and anything you can do to really maximize that lifestyle shot is going to be really great for people to get excited about your property.
Exactly. And creating another space for either yourself to step away from or entertaining is really something that a lot of buyers are looking for. So we will continue the discussion about where this market is headed and what it means for future buyers in our next video. But thank you all for joining me on another market update. I appreciate each of you as always. Hopefully we will see Gerard on the next one, but I will be seeing each of you on the next video.
Thanks so much, Kristen.
Thank you. Thank you all. Have a great weekend.